it's red? All right. Assignment criteria will be given out at the beginning of the assignment. Assignment criteria is being given out right now. Criteria is you need to have a full comprehensive business plan. When we go over the rubric, you'll understand what that means, okay? Assignments will be assessed by peer review or advisory boards. Okay, there's an issue here that I'm going to address with the KPFA board in a couple days. Some folks do not like the idea that the board would be the ones choosing the business plans because of bias. So I'm going to address with the board what we can do to actually have them evaluated without any bias. And the best way I can think of to do that is to have people who do professional business plan development. I could have 2 or 3 of them here during your presentations and really get a good idea of exactly what your business plan is. It's been expressed beyond the need it needed to be because a lot of folks don't really think they're going to get a fair shake. So I don't know what's going on there. That's not me. But I will be talking to them to see if we can do a different evaluation than what they had planned. But the grant was written that way. So if it ends up being that way, that's the way it is, folks. But I'm going to go see what they think about it, okay? So I hope there isn't any bias. I would hope certainly not. But if there is and that's an issue, I definitely need to bring it up with the group. So by the time we get to that point, I'll have an answer for you, okay? I'm going to bat for you as much as I can. Okay. 10 check marks this time. 8 classes, attendance, a rough draft. Was it 10? What does it say? 7 classes? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes, and 2 assignments due. That is the business plan and a rough draft of the business plan. Okay? The business plan is not just a written business plan, it's also your presentation as well. So if you do a written business plan and do not present your ideas, you do not get a check mark. Okay? I guess that could be either 11 check marks or I could make it 10. I should probably just make it 11. Understand what I'm saying? Presentation and business plan, and then the rough draft of the business plan. So that's a total of 3 assignments. You'll get a check mark for each. You get a check mark for showing up for class. Attendance. In order to receive certification for the course completion, each student must attend each class. You guys remember the absent quiz questions and how awful those are? Well, I changed it up a little bit this time. If you decide you want to miss class, and I stress want, if you want to miss this class, that is fine. I will require that you turn in the section of the business plan that we go over when you are not here before the next class. That is your assignment if you decide to miss class. What's so bad about that? You're actually going to get it done. And you're going to give it to me 3 weeks before it's due. So if you want to miss I have an example here. Basically, if you want to miss the financial plan day, then you'll be required to turn in a rough draft of your financial plan before the start of the next class. I am not taking any late assignments. That would include, you'll know this by watching the video. For example, the financial plan would be a cash flow projection, a balance sheet, and an income statement. Minimum, if not graphs for those 2. Okay? So if you decide to miss financial plan day, which would be the worst day to miss, you would then have to turn that in to me, email it to me, your financial plan, which includes the Excel spreadsheet, all the data for all the costs of everything, your money's going in, your money's going out that I'll provide for you. Plus, there's a write-up as well. You don't just have a financial plan with no words in it. You actually have words explaining what all of your numbers mean. So you'll have to have that in to me before the next class. So go ahead and miss class. Not a big deal because you'll find that you're actually farther along than probably people that show up to the class. But in order to meet the requirement, you got to get them in to me before the next class. No complete late assignments will be expected under no circumstances. It's easier just to show up, as I mentioned. If you do not turn in your absent assignments, you will not get the certification for completion. You will get a participation certification, and you will not be eligible for the grant if you've already met the requirements previously. Okay? I'm trying to motivate you folks. That's basically what I put there. So, assessment, attendance, part of the check marks. When you're done, you'll get presented a certification from HCC. Please turn in your assignments before the due date so that I can actually evaluate them. You'll have a couple days during private evals, but I strongly recommend please get it in before I get 30 business plans all at the same time, because when I do that, I don't even look at them at that point. If you get them to me the day they're due, and I get 30 of them all at the same time, oh, lordy, who would want to go through that over the course of 4 days? So please get them in early so that you can have a real nice assessment of what needs to be done in your business plan, okay? Confirmation email. If you email me anything, especially your absent stuff, and you're sending me your financial plan, I will send you an email back saying, thank you so much for sending it to me. Great job. Or I'll tell you what needs to be changed on it, okay? Projects will be assessed by a board of advisors. We're not sure who the advisors will be, but as it stands right now, it's the KPFA Ag Board. For certification, you need all attendance. 0 classes can be missed. If you missed, please watch the videos. You will not get a check mark past 15 minutes late, and if you're late, please be quiet, as usual. I'm flying through this. We're going to get out of here in no time, guys. Assignments. There it is. Assignments. Rough draft due on September 24th. The final draft is due on October 1st before you present. That's the day of presentations. And the PowerPoint presentation is also due on October 1st, which you will, of course, have to have in order to do your presentation to meet the requirements for the class. Total of 3. Okie dokie. Participation. I'd like to have group discussions as much as possible. I really want you folks to chime in as far as your questions that pertain to your specific business plan, because chances are somebody else has the same question with their business plan. So don't just say, I have a question about cash flow projection for my, cash flow projection. Ask your question through your business. When it pertains to my persimmon farm, I'm asking, I'm trying to find about financial information on this so that I can relate it to you and bounce questions back to you and be like, oh, what kind of farm? And how do you plan on making your money? Do you want to dry your fruit, or are you selling fresh? So I can bounce questions off to you. It's not just a general, I don't understand the cash flow projection. Relate every single question that you give me to your specific business plan. Right? If you don't have an idea for a business plan, or at least one to practice with, not your big idea, of course. If you don't have an idea, you really need to come up with one ASAP, okay? Please have all comments, ideas, questions prepared, and please participate with your lecturers, as most of you guys do. All classes will have a lecture, and all course materials will be provided. There's not much course materials. What I do is I tell you what is required for the business plan, and then you guys find out that information. It's not really much that I hand you. Almost all the information you're going to get in this class is through the lecture, and not too many handouts here and there. I gave you a template for business plans. Follow it closely. Not too much as far as materials goes. Of course, you got your book. Video podcast. Each class will be recorded. Audio and video. I am posting them for those folks that had the first class. I started posting them to YouTube. This is awful for me. As I stated earlier, it takes something like 12 hours to upload a 4-hour class on YouTube. iTunes U took me about 15 minutes, but it's much more user-friendly for you folks who have internet issues because it compresses it down and you can actually stream it much better than you could with the iTunes U. Okay? When iTunes U, when you viewed it on there, it took the quality of the video that I had in my camera, which was, even though I had it set pretty low, it's still high compared to what they have on YouTube. Everything that goes on YouTube gets compressed down to a pretty small file. That's why I'm using it. If I do not get the videos posted up on Monday, that's because it's still tick, 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 ticking and working, and they'll be up as soon as I possibly can. My biggest issue right now is I'm traveling all over the island, so I can't sit at my desk and just let it go. I have to bring my computer with me and all this stuff. I now, finally, in 3 years, have internet at home. Wi-Fi. So, chances are, most likely, these videos will be uploaded on Monday nights as I go to bed. I'll probably click go, and then when I wake up in the morning, hopefully it's close to finished or halfway finished, and then I come in the office and finish up the other half. You see how this is a total pain in the butt for me. Disclaimer, videos are an added bonus, folks. These is a gift for me, and I'm doing this for you so that you can go and live your life and not have to sit in this class, okay? They're not a right. Sometimes videos don't go up as planned. Sometimes the audio recording doesn't go well. Sometimes I forget to bring it with me on a field trip like I did around this last class. It happens. It happens. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. So sometimes when I stick my hand in my pocket, I turn off my microphone. I've done that 1,000 times over the course of this class. So if you see me on the video all of a sudden shove my hand in my pocket and then I go silent, you know why. It's my fault. I did that. But it's not really my fault because I'm just doing this as a favor to you folks, okay? So if you miss a class and the video is bad or I can't get it up or for whatever reason there's no audio or something, it's your kuleana to figure out what needs to be done for that class. Maybe read your book. It's a pretty good idea of what was needed for a financial plan or a marketing plan in that book that I gave you. If you have any questions and you missed the class and there's no audio, get with me. We'll figure it out, okay? Each PowerPoint will be available via Google Docs or email. Most likely, I'm just going to email them. So all of my PowerPoints will be put to PDF, and I will email them out to the entire group. That's what I did last semester. It seemed to work out pretty good. For you folks who did the first round, I put them up on iTunes U. Some of you couldn't access it. It was an issue. So check your email. At the end of the class, end of the discussion, I will, with the videos, give you an email with the PowerPoint presentation. And then if I have any handouts, which I don't really have much of, they'll be included as well. Okay? So get your materials through email. If you need a printed copy, give me 4 days notice, or at least 3 days notice, and I can maybe have my office print off a copy of whatever it is that you need, this PowerPoint or something. But you got to give me plenty of days notice. Don't expect to get it on Thursday when it's due on Saturday, okay? Class schedule, boy, you can't read that too well. Good thing we have it on printing. Okay, let's pull out the schedule. Class schedule. August 6th, hey, that's today. Going over syllabus, did some paperwork, got your textbooks, I got your contact information, and we're going to go over a little bit of YouTube. I'll pull it up just so you can see where it is, okay? Next class, this is that double class I'd mentioned, okay? This is business model and executive summary all in one.
That will be on the 13th, right?
On the 13th, correct.
We got an annual meeting, see, down there. KPFA Association.
What time?
Same time, right now?
6:30 to 8:30.
Nobody told me that. Watch the video, you'll be fine.
Well,
I can't stop the class because you can't make it. There's plenty of other people that will be here. So if you can't make any classes, that's fine. That's why the videos are there, okay? If you need to leave halfway through a class or come in halfway into a class, just do the video and you will still get credit, okay? Got it? Business model executive summary. We're going to go over model development. How do you develop your own business model for your idea? We're going to go over a couple feasibility tests like the SWOT test and the GEL test, which is just gives you a chance to really evaluate your ideas, whether they're viable or not. and if you have a market or not. We're going to do a little bit of scenario planning, like best, worst, and most likely scenario. When we talk about that, that's certainly financials, okay? So we're going to talk about what you would love to happen, what might happen, and what would be the worst thing that can happen. And then you plan for all three of those so that when they happen, you already have a plan written, especially financials. You have a financial plan written in case if you're not doing all that well. Vision and mission statement, two different things. We'll go over those extensively in that lecture. Business structure. Are you going to be an LLC? Are you going to be a sole proprietorship? Are you going to be a corporation? What are you going to be as far as your business plan, okay? Don't think as a family farmer anymore. We are going to now sell products. We are now going to make some money on the market, okay? This isn't family farm class anymore. This is business. Seeking funds. We'll talk about where to go if you need some funds as a farmer in Hawaii. DHHL, not, certainly an avenue, but there's a lot of other ones out there, and just because you guys are native farmers doesn't mean you have to be exclusive with one group. FSA, the Farm Services Agency, gives you guys money for your operations loan for your farm just the same as anybody else. As long as you meet the requirements, that's all you need to do. Okay? A lot of folks own a farm and have been considered a farm manager and do farm taxes. At that point, you can get a farm loan at $300,000 from FSA at about 1.5%. And it's like, is every other organization offering you that kind of a deal? No. So why not take advantage? Okay, so we'll talk about where to find funds, and I go over a paragraph form description of what an executive summary is. Okay, your executive summary, which is different than your business model. Business model is just your umbrella kind of covering the whole idea of your business. Your executive summary is literally a one-page cover letter that goes on the top of your business plan that summarizes everything anybody who would be interested in your business plan would want to know in the first 5 minutes. Your executive summary will have how much money you plan on making. It'll talk about who your customers are, who are you marketing to, where are you marketing, and it just breaks it all down into one page so that when you hand out this business plan to a lender, they look at that first page, and then if they get excited, they will keep turning. Most times they won't keep turning because they're not excited because you did not pitch or sell your idea well enough in your executive summary. That's what your executive summary is. It's your pitch. It's your sales pitch to try to get somebody to give a crap about you. Okay? All right. Marketing plan, my favorite day. I love marketing. Why? Because I'm formally trained in marketing, and I'm pretty damn good at it. Hawaii is the most exciting place to market because when it comes to guerrilla marketing, there isn't people out there telling you can't do that. Everywhere else in the mainland, you try to do guerrilla marketing, you start putting ideas in people's heads through avenues that they normally wouldn't do, you get some resistance. But in Hawaii, it's like if somebody sees an approach for marketing that they've never seen before, they get excited about it. And then they tell their friends about it. Oh, I saw this thing. Amazing how it was marketed. It blew my mind. I now know the product exists within the first 20 seconds of being introduced to their product because of their marketing plan was so good. Okay? Marketing strategies. Market research. This is huge. As far as your marketing plan, the biggest section is going to be your market research plan. This is going to be the section of your marketing plan that describes what your market looks like, how much money can you make in your market, what percentage of your market are you going to run. The best ones that are for market research are things that where you can't really get much data because your idea is so new and so good that it's really hard to find market data because a market doesn't even exist yet. That's a good thing. If you are struggling and you can't get any data, chances are you're on the right track. So Why don't you write out in your marketing plan what you would expect to have as far as information goes? I don't really care about the numbers. And then show me that you understand your market completely before you start diving in. You need to know what the water looks like. If there's any sharks in there, can you see in it? You know, play that game. Don't go in that pool yet until you totally understand what's in there, okay? Customer experience management. Retaining customers. If you market and then somebody comes into your store and buys one thing and leaves, how is that helpful to you? It's not. Now, if that person comes in and buys something and then tells somebody else about the thing that they bought, even if they don't come and pick that up, that's helpful, okay? Because that person might tell another person, word of mouth. Retaining good customers over a long period of time and meeting their expectations. GEL, I did a GLE. GEL, that's a gel test, okay? Do you have good customers? Can you hold them for a very, very long period of time? And do they have a nice experience with your product? Marketing styles. I love this section. How can you, as a tomato farmer, market different than anybody else? Well, Wow Farms did it. Wow Farms, non-for-profit group that are educating farmers, or kids on how to farm, and they did it through tomatoes, and they did it by marketing only tomatoes. But their pitch is, it's helping the future of agriculture. Why not buy our products? You buy our products, we'll put that money towards educating your children and yada yada. What a great marketing pitch. I would certainly pay twice as much for my tomatoes if I knew that that money went towards education of farmers in Hawaii. I mean, you couldn't hit closer to my heartstrings, you know? Pricing and sales strategies. Okay? The market dictates your price. Not true. You dictate the price. Okay? Can you justify a price for your product? If you could justify it, you might be able to be successful. Okay? I talk about this in this lecture. I don't want to get too much on it, but there's certainly somebody I know over on Kona side that sells the most expensive coffee I've ever seen sold. And that's her market. That's who she marketed to. When she wrote her business plan, that's what she said she was going to do. And right now she sells Kona coffee at $49 a pound. And it's no different than anyone else's. She just marketed it that way, and she's selling out like hotcakes. Because when a rich guy walks up to a counter and he sees $27 a pound, $29, $30, and then $48, which one is he going to buy? He's going to buy the $48 every time. So what she does is she markets strictly to the luxury market. There is a lot of money coming to this island every day. People on the other side of the island, they got an incredible amount of money, and they love to spend it. How can you take advantage of that? Okay? It's real easy, especially you guys with the native thing. If you get into, you know, native farmers and stuff, it's agritourism. That's what people come to places all over the world just to see how native folks or people that live in that area, how do they do it? And that's interests them, and they're willing to spend $5,000 on a vacation to go see farms and that kind of thing. That's what they do. These are foodies. These are people that are into agriculture. Customer retention portfolio. Holding on to your customers for an extended period of time. And mostly here you're talking about, does your product exist at a level where your customer can't live without it? I mean, everybody has that, right? You have one product, I don't, but you have one product that you've been using since you were this tall, and you love it, and that's what you use, and whether it be your shampoo or whatever it is, the cereal you eat in the morning, everybody has that one product that they are religious about. Can you be that product, and how can you market it to folks so that you hit that level of enjoyment with your product? Financial plan. Okay, I had originally done that on the last day, and I bumped it a little bit sooner so that you can have plenty of time to work on the financial plan. Typically, I would say that the financial plan should be done second to last, behind or in front of executive summary. But because you really need to have a full understanding of your business, who your customers are, who are you shipping to, how much do your raw materials cost, how much does your labor cost. You need to have an understanding of your customers and all these things before you can write down this information in your financials. That's kind of why I have you doing the business model, the executive summary, and the marketing plan. I usually had done the management plan first, but I kind of decided that management plan isn't really all that important when it comes to understanding your financials. This is really, management plan is really just talking about finding the right people for the job. So not everybody can run a business by themselves. Most people think they can. You can't. If you want to make over $500,000 a year, you can't do it yourself. If you want to make over $150,000 a year farming, you're not going to do it yourself. You need to have personnel and you need to have management there. Two different things. Okay? So we'll talk about that in management plan after we go over the financial plan. But with financial plan, we'll talk about the importance of record keeping, financial data, overcoming your financial fears. That is super important. Most folks, when they see an Excel spreadsheet, kind of like me, they're like, ah! And they shut down, you know? They're just like, ah! I don't want to go near that thing. There's all these squares and numbers. So really we'll talk about understanding that you have to understand the lingo. You have to understand these spreadsheets in order to succeed. If you don't understand them, don't start your business yet. Not until you know the spreadsheets through and through, the data, where the data comes from, all that stuff, okay? Balance sheets, of course, income statements, cash flow. Those are the required sections of your business plan, right? Break-even analysis, super important. At what point are you going to sell enough products to pay for your materials, costs of labor, insurance, travel, distribution? At some point, you have to sell 50 tons of material to break even. So if that's the case, you're going to have to rethink things, right? So the what do you call it? Break-even analysis is a really great graph that shows at what point do you tip over into the profit side, and how do you stay on that side, okay? Funding. Types of funding, angel investors. You have crowdfunding like Kickstarter. You have banks. You have so many places to get money from. We'll talk about that. Resources that are available for you. So we'll talk about FSA, Farm Services Agency, or NRCS that can bring down the cost of building a farm. We can help with fencing, and they can help with livestock water troughs, and they can do these things and help pay for them and make it easier on you. So we'll talk about resources. In addition to that, this reminded me, I am offering a module after these classes. We're doing 12 modules, as I mentioned before. One of them is a resources module. So we'll have FSA and NRCS there doing a whole lecture for anybody that is interested, and find out what programs they can get for free or pay into and get a discounted price. Setting your financial goals. This is